Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, we are bringing you guys awesome interviews, and today it is an honor and privilege, as always, to support the locals, no matter what state that they're in or where they're actually located. We have Mr. Mikael Parks. He's the vocalist of Deathcrown, and they are from Richmond, Virginia, and they have a current EP that's out right now called Living Hell. So we're going to be talking to him about that, and plus, maybe we'll see if they're working on anything like a full-length album, but we'll get into that here. But Mikael, my man, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Like I said earlier, glad to have you on the show. Let's jump right into this. What's impressed you the most about making the EP? What's caught your eye about it, if anything? Man, I know it's just a couple of tracks, but let's talk about this a little bit.
All right. Yeah. It was doing the whole thing was kind of a strenuous little effort to get done because it was supposed to be done in, 2013. So we were sitting on it for a long time till it actually got released in 2016, trying to get the members, just kind of trying to get the direction, the feel, and me and Tommy, the guitar player, and the drummer, Ryan Parrish, got together finally and recorded some stuff and, found someone to release it. Primitive Ways released it on cassette. And then later on in the year, in 2016, Lost Apparitions released it on CD. Mm-hmm. And it's been fun so far. We've done a lot with it. It's kind of getting on its year anniversary now, so we need to release some new stuff at some point.
That's what I was going to ask. Are you guys going to maybe make a full length and tie this EP into the full length, or you're just going to do just new stuff?
I think this EP is probably just going to stand alone on its own. We are working on new material we're recording right now. Mm-hmm. We've got I believe 9 or 10 songs recorded, but I believe we're going to split up how they're released. So we got a band in Sweden that we're doing the split with, and it's going to be 4 songs from us and 4 songs with them. And they're also a death metal band. So we're going to be doing that, and then hopefully probably about 4 months after that release, we're probably going to be also releasing a standalone EP. And we might do a full length. I don't know. We have so much songs and so much stuff written that's like just sitting in our Dropbox, and that's where we pretty much store all of our songs and ideas and stuff and share with one another. And so a full length might happen. We're not sure yet. So we're gonna see what happens because, like I said, we're sitting on so much material that's just sitting pretty much in the batter's box, just waiting to be, recorded. And so we'll see. It all really depends.
I want to jump on this because you mentioned something really cool. You're going to do a split with another band that's overseas. Mm-hmm. Do you like this, man? When you guys trade songs, okay, you do these 4 and we'll do these 4, just to mix it up a little bit.
I think pretty much what we do. I think with the split's going to be it'll be like, I guess. I don't know who's going to be featured on it first. I think it's going to be 4 songs of ours or 4 songs of theirs, and then like that. Right. Pretty much. So it'll be like 4 in a row, and then 4 in a row from the other band.
Okay. Now
I think it'd be kind of cool to mix it up a little bit. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I know a lot of punk bands that do that, and it's actually pretty cool. It's really cool to listen to some other band cover your stuff and go, well, that's a little interesting.
Yeah, I might. I didn't think about doing that. I don't know how the other guys would feel about doing it. I could always ask.
Well, sure.
So
let's talk about the EP here, about the producing. Who produced this EP? Did you guys do it, or who actually did it?
Pretty much Tommy did it, our guitar player.
Uh-huh.
We all kind of did it. We all had a little bit, input in it. But Tommy pretty much recorded it, engineered it, did a lot of the producing of it. We did a lot of pre-production work for it as well. So there was a lot of that recording going on first, and then we actually went in and recorded it, And Tommy's been a sound engineer and a studio engineer and producer for quite a while now, and he's pretty good at it, I think. I mean, we weren't trying to go for a real polished sound.
Right.
We could have if we wanted to, like a real slick, polished sound, but, since we're like an old-school death metal band, and we've been doing this stuff since the 90s. We kind of just wanted to have a sound that was like, not too polished, not too crazy, natural drums, everything like that, and have a little bit of an edge to it, So don't want it to sound too slick, too polished.
When you start working on this new EP that's coming out later on, are you guys going to do it yourself again or just try to get in the studio?
We are going to do it ourselves again. We are doing it in the studio, though.
Right, right.
The Ward Studios in Richmond. We are doing it in the studio, and then we got to talk to the guys overseas about, you know, who we want to get to master the whole thing, just so the volumes are the same for each band. Because, you know, I've heard some splits where, you listen to one band and then it goes to the next band, and it's like the volume is a drastic difference because they probably didn't get mastered by the same people.
Are there any songs off this EP, Living Hell, that are standing out more to you than any on it since it's been released, man?
People really dig the Witchhammer. For me, I think I like them all. I do, but I think the Witchhammer stands out the most for me. I think it's a very good representation of like who we are, I guess, as far as the vision for the band, I guess you could say, like what we want to do with our sound, like the kind of music we want to write. The rest of the songs are too, but I don't know. I think Witchhammer jumps out at me the most, and it seems to do the same for everyone else that, you know, has the EP. They like that song. Some people like God Is a Lie. I've had other people say, you know, I'm Living Hell's their favorite. So what I like about it is like every song kind of has their own identity. You know, it doesn't sound like the same thing happening. It's not real repetitive, I guess you could say. And that's what I enjoy about it. So I guess that's why certain songs really jump out at certain people. You know, what they would say would be their favorite. For me, it is the Witchhammer, though.
How much growth musically have you seen Deathcrown go through since the formation, or has it been, you know, more personal growth as a guitar player or singer or whatever?
I think since the beginning, there's been a lot of growth as far as my vocals. There has been. For a long time, I shied away from doing a lot of lower vocals. I was more in the mid-high range when I was like doing stuff with like Arsis and bands before that. And with this band, I decided to go lower and low to mid-range instead. Even the guitar players, Tommy and Jake on there, we saw Jake grow a lot because, you know, he came from Michigan. He played out there, and he got here and actually started playing with Tommy. Tommy's been playing for, I don't even know, more than 20 years, easy. You know, I guess they kind of fed off each other, so they helped each other grow, because they both kind of, I don't know, it was like with any guitar player, you know, they all got their own style, you know, and so when they learn someone else's stuff, they're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't think about writing stuff in that way, you know, or that kind of, what's the word for it? It's hard for me to pin it. I guess it's just styles, you know, their styles, they kind of get an idea of each other's styles, you know. And I think Jake grew a lot being in the band with us. And I don't know, I think as a whole, even with our drummer, he's never even been in a death metal band before, so he's definitely grown a lot as well.
So it's all new to him pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
He's probably
but he's doing a great job, so, I mean, he came in and, you know, I mean, after Ryan, he took Ryan's place, and Ryan, he's been doing it for over 20 years. Like, he's been in Darkest Hour, and he's in Iron Reagan right now, and Mammoth Grinder, Suppression. So he's, and he played death metal in the 90s as well. So I think Robley was a little worried about having to try to fill his shoes, but I think he's doing a damn good job, and he's definitely grown I don't think he really realized how good he was until he got a chance to play death metal, I guess.
So how much local support does Deathcrown get from your followers and the venues, especially the style of music that you play and radio play? Do you get any support at all from locals?
As far as radio goes, I don't think we get a whole lot. I was told that somewhere the station in Richmond played one of our songs from a friend. When it comes to playing live, we don't play a whole lot at home. We're usually on the road a lot. We go out on the weekends and tour. So we maybe play locally about 3 to 4 times a year. So we try to keep that, trying to oversaturate ourselves there.
That was my next question. Do you guys have to travel a lot just to get, you know, just to play shows because of the style that you play?
Not necessarily. Okay. I mean, there is death metal in Richmond and other bands that are heavy or, you know, similar that we can play with. But, I mean, we prefer to travel, you know. I mean, I feel me and Tommy have a very old school ethic when it comes to being in a band. And if you're going to take it serious, you know, get out on the road as much as possible. You know,
sure.
Get in front of people. You know, have a good time, you know.
That's when you know that's when you know everybody's serious in the band, when everybody wants to hit the road. That's when you find out who's going to stay and who's going to be going.
Yeah, it's definitely. And it's definitely hard for people to get, you know, members that are all on the same page, you know, when it comes to that. So that's a difficult thing. So getting 5 guys that are all like, okay, we're going to go do this and tour as much as we possibly can and stuff. And it's hard, especially if you got a guy in the band that has a career, he's not going to be able to do that. So it puts you between a rock and a hard spot, But yeah, we get out of town as much as possible. Right now, like I said, we're recording, so we're kind of keeping our, the shows we play selective and not doing a whole lot. But come around August, I believe we'll start doing weekends again, regionally.
What can fans expect at a show from Deathcrown when they come to see you guys?
A good time. Just dudes being pretty much keeping it real. I guess our persona on stage, too, is also keeping it real, playing our best no matter what, performing our best no matter what. We've been up there sick from being on the road, catching each other's colds or flus or whatever. Mm-hmm. And just, giving 100% all the time. And when we're on stage, too, there's not like a stage us and then off the stage us. It's always the same. So we're just the same people as we would be on and off stage. It's the same. So, like, I'm a goofy person on stage. I'm a goofy person off stage. I don't really have a persona, I guess you could say. A lot of bands I know do that, but we don't. We just go up there, keep it real, and play death metal. That's pretty much, and have fun.
Here's something that I've always been wanting to ask somebody that plays death metal, because I mean it takes a toll on your vocals. I think being in a death metal band than say your regular metal rock bands, so heavy metal stuff like that, which is great. I love that style. But now when you talk about death metal, when you first started playing death metal, did it take your vocals a while to train them to do this?
Well, I think at first it kind of did, because I wasn't sure exactly how to do, because I'm already naturally a singer, and I've always sang and choruses and stuff like that, and also sang at the White House when I was younger.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but so I was always a singer, so I always knew like the technique of how to sing and stuff, how to use your diaphragm and stuff like that.
Sure.
I just applied that to doing death metal, but it took a minute for me to figure out, okay, if I do it like this, I'm gonna hurt myself. If I do it like this, I'm not gonna hurt myself.
Right.
So it really all comes out of the gut, pretty much gut, diaphragm, breath control, and it didn't really mess up my throat or my vocal cords too bad at first. I could feel it starting to when I first started learning. I kind of just came pretty natural, actually. It's just I would hear things that I liked, as far as, like bands like Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that, when I was younger.
Oh, God,
in the 90s, and would try to emulate it,
Yeah.
And that kind of helped a little bit. So I was like, okay, if I'm sounding like these guys, I'm probably kind of doing it right. But no, I haven't had a whole lot of issues like with that. But if you're sick or something, that's a different story. It can mess up a few things depending on what you're sick with. So
true, that's very true. Now
mm-hmm.
we're in the digital era of recording albums and social media. As far as Deathcrown's concerned, do you guys prefer this time that we're in with the digital era and social media and stuff, and getting music out there quicker? And I know you guys are working in the studio anyway, but I know you do it yourself as well. But do you like this that we're in right now? Or I know it's kind of a double-edged sword, but what's your take on it?
I feel like it's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I mean, I see it being beneficial, but at the same time, I mean, I remember before the internet and stuff like that, and social media and stuff, and having to do everything that way, and word of mouth and all that jazz,
hanging flyers and stuff like that. Mixtape, and so here you go.
Tape trading, CD trading, and all that.
The good old days.
When you go to a record store to buy something, if you want.
Hell yeah. Yes,
I always thought it was cool when they started letting you actually listen to the stuff before you buy it.
I remember that.
I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I grab like a stack of records, like like CDs or something, 20 of them, and go just hog the thing. But yeah, I guess it is kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, it's more saturated now. It seems like.
True.
There's so many bands. I mean, it's crazy, but it's also helpful. I mean, if you're serious about doing it, and you got to have that social media presence, put out music quickly, and constantly keep some kind of buzz going, constantly have that presence on the internet as well. But you also have to go out. You can't just rely on that, you know. You also have to go out and, you know, tour, play as much as you can live. And what I would really like, and which is crazy, is I would like to record a tape sometime, you know, like they would do in the 80s and early 90s, before it was digital and everything. That's something I would like to do. I just love the way tape sounds. It's got a really warm sound, you know. It has a more of a live feel, too, you know. You can't go in and edit the crap out of it, you know.
Yeah, you have to split the
tape. But that's
tape.
something I would like. And what's crazy about it is I think it's more expensive now to record on tape than it was. So, yeah, I think recording on tape is pretty expensive these days. So, but that's something I would like to do. But having the digital era, like, you know, I think it's cool. It's helpful. And if you utilize it correctly, it can work in your favor. Yeah.
Michael, what does Deathcrown bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, man?
That's hard to say. I mean, we're definitely not reinventing the wheel by no means. And I don't see a whole lot of that happening at all anyways. I think for us, you know, we just want to focus on songwriting. You know, we're not trying to, you know, be too crazy, too technical. You know, we're not trying to be too anything really. If anything, we're trying to be just write good songs. You know, we don't want them to be too long and catchy as well. You know, like always have a catchy chorus. And I think our approach to writing stuff, like structurally, like how we structure our songs, is very similar to, like, you know, the older bands, like classic bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and stuff like that. It's pretty basic stuff, you know, the way we write. And it's you know, we've got intro riff, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, you know, kind of repeat, bridge riff, solo section. You know, we keep it pretty simple, basic, and catchy. And there's a lot of bands in death metal that don't do that. There's a lot of death metal bands that tend to, I guess, kind of just paste riffs together, you know, and kind of loses focus, I feel. But I think that's something we concentrate on, and it actually feels like it's harder to do to come up with stuff and write stuff that's gonna be catchy and you know, has the hooks, and continue to do that every time, continue to deliver that every time. Yeah, so I think when it comes to death metal, I think we stand out in that aspect a little bit. Not a whole lot, because there are other bands that do it as well, but not many anymore.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said that's what I want to do right there?
I would say it was with my uncle. I always liked heavy metal and stuff. You know, I listened in the 80s. I listened to a lot of stuff. Maiden, Priest, Sabbath, hair metal, all that stuff, classic rock. And I remember my aunt came and visited with her husband. I'd never met him before. His name was Adam. And he had like long hair and everything. He was telling me about Slayer and stuff. And I think it was 89. Told me about Slayer and Sepultura and stuff. He's like, yeah, check this stuff out, you know, and told me that he was in a band and all this. And I saw a video of him playing, I guess, at his high school. And his band was covering like Danzig and Metallica and stuff like that. And that's what kind of like pretty much inspired me to want to do it.
Nice.
And and then, you know, ended up meeting friends that were kind of on the same page. You know, the guy that played guitar is a best friend of mine. And that's how it all started. So we met some other guys that were a little older than us that were jamming in the band together, our buddy Frank and Sammy, and that was all she wrote, pretty much. Went from being like a kid that was into baseball and athletics to, you know, smoking weed and playing metal and death metal, you know.
Fuck the world.
Yeah, it was just a complete 180, man. My parents didn't know what to do with me. They're like, what the hell?
They're pointing at each other, go, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your damn fault.
Yeah.
Is there a show or moment that stands out more to you than any being part of Deathcrown? Or maybe there's a moment or something that you guys felt out a band that you couldn't believe you were helping out, or playing in front of a show that you couldn't believe that you were doing? Any moment like that possibly stick out to you?
For Deathcrown?
Yeah, for you guys.
I don't know. We're relatively new still. It'll be a year on June 17th for us. But we've done a lot in the past year, so I don't know. There's been, to me, I guess the last tour we did was kind of like one of those moments for me. Just being like, whoa, okay, not even in the band a year yet and already going out for almost a month. So that was one of those kind of moments like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening already. And also having, having people very interested in it, you know, is really cool within the year. Having a lot of positive feedback is really like, wow. For us. I have to say this, though. I don't know if you're familiar with SOD magazine from the 90s. The pretty big magazine in the 90s for like death metal and black metal and thrash metal and stuff. They are now DOA magazine, and the guy David Horn, who's the editor-in-chief there, reviewed our album, well, EP, and gave it a perfect score. So
wow.
That was it was like 666 fucking skulls, and that's like the best score you can get. And you know, some of us have seen that, you know, since the 90s, bands getting those, like some of our favorite bands were like, whoa, one day I hope that we get that happens to us. And
yeah,
it did happen to us. So our very first effort, and that was actually a serious milestone for us, I would say.
For sure, that adds more fuel to the fire, you know?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, having that from the, you know, debut EP is like, whoa, now we're under pressure, though. We got to keep releasing stuff that's going to keep getting a review like that from that guy, you know. So,
is there anything coming up for Deathcrown? Any shows or anything like that you want to throw in here?
We got the Raleigh Death Fest coming up this Saturday, actually, to Maywood, and I believe it starts around I think around 4:00 in the afternoon. That's going to be really fun, and it's probably going to sell out. That's what it's looking like so far.
Good deal.
They're urging people to get their tickets early. Well, they were. I don't know if it's sold out as far as early tickets go, but I'm pretty sure the venue is going to reach capacity. We got that, and then we got like a local show on the 17th, which is pretty much our 1-year anniversary of being a band, that we're doing with Cultist, Death of Kings, Black Mass, and Buzzard Dust. And then we are going to concentrate more on recording, getting that done. We got a fest that we're playing up in Connecticut called Sloth Fest on July 29th, and I believe we're going to book a couple shows around that, you know, get us up there and back. And we got I think it's the Metal Punk Fest, Death Metal Punk Fest in Brooklyn, September 1st, with a ton of bands on there that we're playing. And right now that's pretty much it, but we do have plans to we were going to book a summer tour, but we've had so much going on that we haven't had a chance to even get started on that. So it's kind of too late now, because when you're going to book a summer tour, it's something you got to start working on in the springtime. And we kind of dropped the ball on that because we were on the road and then we got back, and then everyone had a bunch of personal things going on. So
yeah, but
we are shooting for a long tour in the fall of the whole U.S. So that's what we have on our plate right now.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy the CP, buy some merchandise, keep up with your tour dates when you do go on. How can they do that, Michael?
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It's probably the best way to do it, you know. We're, like I said, we have a very, a very high presence when it comes to that. We're constantly on there updating things and letting people know what's going on. And, yeah, so everything that needs to be known is on there, like all announcements, tour dates will be on there, you know. Merchandise availability is on there. Everything is pretty much on those two sites. We don't have a web store yet, which we're kind of working on. We can't seem to keep any merchandise stocked long enough to do anything. So we go on the road and everything sells out, and we're like, oh crap, I got to get more.
Yeah, that's good though.
And it's definitely it's hard to do when everyone in the band doesn't have, like, you know, a whole lot of money. We're pretty broke guys.
Yeah.
So merchandise is always it's something we love to have, but it's expensive, you know. It's hard to keep it stocked. And, you know, gas prices too. Like, you go out and you're playing all the time and you're not making a whole lot on the road anyways from just playing the show. And sometimes when you sell the merch, you know, that sometimes that money has to go into the gas tank, and you're like, wow, man.
Yeah, or that could be your food that night too.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of sacrificing constantly going on, and being in debt and trying to catch up with the debt, and
yeah,
you know, trying to get to that point to where you can break even and then eventually maybe make a little bit. But, you know, death metal is definitely not the, you know, advice to everybody. If you want to make money in music, don't play death metal. So,
hey, before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Hey, this is Mikael Parks from Deathcrown. You are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody, go out and pick up Living Hell. It's out right now. I'm sure you're going to be loving this EP. Check it out. Support this band, and are always welcome back on here. And they have full support for BODS Mayhem Hour. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Michael.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, man. You have a good one.